In your new book, Word of God, you talk a lot about growing up in Brooklyn in the 80s before this was before it was what we think of as Brooklyn today with the, artisanal oat milk latte crowd, right? Like you grew up in a
Yeah.
very different Brooklyn. How did that shape you?
It shaped me in a lot of ways because like like growing up between Brooklyn and Harlem was just like two different worlds because like when I lived in Brooklyn till I was like 8, 9 years old, and it was so much like crime, and it was so much like just rough. Like it was just rough, like going outside, and it just taught you a lot of survival skills as a young age,
Hmm.
and just knowing like how to be aware of your surroundings, and it gave you like a one-on-one class of how to read people, like kind of like growing up, like how to know like who's for you and who's not for you, and just just to be aware. I wouldn't say fearful. I would say just to be aware of your surroundings and where you're going up. But it was also great too because it taught me a lot of fashion. It taught me about nice cars. It gave me a vision of what could be without knowing what was going on at the time. And at that young age, I didn't really know how people made their money. So I didn't know nothing about drugs. I didn't know nothing about that. I just seen people from the part of Brooklyn I lived in. I just seen people with flashy cars, good money, good living, but just rough.
Yeah.
Like if I want to say in a way I could say just just rough. And everybody, the one thing that was big to me growing up, everybody was guarded.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like all these wonderful places I traveled in my life now, and sometimes I have to catch myself from the New York stigma of not being defensive.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like always thinking somebody's like out to get you, or nice things can happen without you worrying about, okay, when is the shoe gonna drop? When is that? When is this? Things like that.
So by your teen years, you're already kind of becoming a playground legend around Harlem, around parts of New York, right?
Hmm.
You're breaking guys' ankles at 15, all
Yeah.
that fun stuff, man. Is there stuff from those days that you still teach guys who are in the NBA now, or youth you work with?
Yeah, I teach. I like from from the beginning. So like when I first started getting good in basketball, like it says in my book without giving it away, I went to a park called Record Park, and I
Yeah.
just seeing all these amazing players, and they were just so fancy and so entertaining. And I was like, man, if I could entertain people like this one day, this would be, I would love to do this because I was so entertained, and got so much joy from them from watching them play. And once I became, you know, enamored with it, and that was like my daily routine. That was like my life. So like me now, like you said, fast forward and me teaching guys today, I teach them with the same passion and the same joy because it's funny because 25 years earlier, like I always tell my father, like I was born too early, like 25 years earlier, people used to ridicule me for dribbling like this or being too fancy or stuff like that. And now when you look at NBA or any college, any high school, if you can't dribble, you might not have a job.
Yeah.
So it's like, so it's funny because like when I talk to certain kids and they say, man, you lasted this long, or what happened, or this happened, that happened. I'm like, y'all don't know how good y'all got it. I'm like, in my era, like I was ridiculed for this. So like, so I'm like, I'm glad I'm getting praised now, but I'm like, man, only if y'all knew like what I went through growing up, where I wasn't being praised for this.
Is there a line to walk between, and I've seen this in soccer, I've seen this in other
Hmm.
sports,
Hmm.
where you can be a showboat on the ball, but there's times to, how should I put it, the ability to use that to your advantage versus showing off?
Yeah, and that's the thing. So like when I was coming up, the confusion was it was just showing off.
Yeah.
Whereas now you see the way the NBA had to accept it, and basketball as a whole had to accept it, that you could tell a difference between a person showing off and a person really playing basketball. Like, a la like you got Kyrie Irving and you
Yeah,
got Steph Curry and stuff like that, where this is just a part of their game. And that's how I felt with me growing up. But when me growing up, it wasn't really acceptable. And it was for a lot of reasons. It wasn't just about showboat. It's just that, and you also had so many amazing big men
yeah,
that was just big men, right? So you got to think, when I played, it was Shaq, Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, and all these other great centers, Sabonis, and different centers. So, which they were great at what they did. So it wasn't no room for all that. It was like get them the ball, move out the way,
yeah,
be able to spot up and shoot and things like that. And that's how much basketball evolved. And I'm just happy that, through the grace of God and through, the people that watching me grow up, I'm still a part of it in a unique way. And, as a, like yourself, as a writer, as a sports guy, as any job you do, your goal hopefully is to make it better than how you found it.
yeah,
All right. So, well, hopefully when people read this book and they, the people that ask questions about me, that like me and stuff like that, they will see like the one thing that I know for sure that I have done, I have left basketball better than how I found it.
yeah,
Even if it's just one part of dribbling, because, you know, when I'm dead and gone, like, which is such a like unique honor for certain people, when I'm dead and gone, it would be a kid that would get a certain age and their family would teach them the sham God.
yeah,
So it would be way from when I'm not even here. So like that's just such a like amazing and humbling feat for me. So that's why I'm so passionate about working with players and helping players and things like that, because I know this thing called basketball could do for you, for your life, for your legacy, for your career, and just giving you a place in this world.
yeah. You talk, well, since you brought it up, we'll jump onto your namesake move, right?
Mhm.
What's amazing is that for a lot of guys, this would be something that they practice, right? Like they worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't, right? This is just you were
No.
in the NCAA tournament. You broke this out because it seemed like some like it came to you.
Yeah, and that's why I said for me growing up, the the love and the struggle with basketball and masters of basketball was they, in my time they was confused with like, oh, he's showboating or he's doing this, he's doing that. When with me, I've never been in a element of showboating. I practiced dribbling so much growing up that I really knew how to dribble, right? So not to knock anyone, but if you see people in this era, they practice moves. Like they practice moves like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do Ivory crossover. I'm gonna do James Harden step back. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. In my era, we just went to the park and we played and we learned how to dribble. You learn how to dribble. You learn how to shoot, and then you improvise, right? So I became such a good dribbler, or master of dribbling, that I was always able to improvise at the drop of a dime. So even like the move Shamgard that kids named it, I didn't name it that. The kids
Yeah,
named it that. But that was just like you said, it was improvisation. I was trying to do something else and I messed up and I just reacted to to doing things that I've done my whole life. And every time I dribbled my playing in games, it was always a reaction. It's kind of like a boxer like Floyd Mayweather, which is a good friend of mine. Like he's such a great defensive boxer that it's easy for him to fight so many different styles of boxing because only thing he's doing is reacting.
yeah, yeah,
So that's how I equate to me dribbling. Like only thing I did was I always wanted to make sure I was comfortable in uncomfortable situations when it came to basketball. So I just read and react, and sometimes the moves are amazing, sometimes the moves are regular, sometimes that. But growing up, they just couldn't get out of their head that they was like, man, this is like he's so fancy, he's so this, he's so that. And then other great basketball players like, Tiny Archibald and people that saw me play, they knew exactly where I was coming from in my basketball. And I think that's why I'm so irrelevant now because if you look at all the kids that's coming up now, I remember one day Chris Paul was like, "Man, I used to love watching you in high school, and you made me want to play basketball. It made me want to dribble." So it's like, so I think I'm so relevant because the way I play is how kids play today.
Is that something you have to break some guys out of? Because you talk about not only being uncomfortable and comfortable in
Yep.
uncomfortable situations, but also
Mhm.
you played out of a flow. Like you were, it's
Yeah.
almost spiritual the way you write about dribbling.
Yes.
Eh,
hmm
Is do you have to break guys out of that, or do they come to that naturally?
No, sometimes with drills and different things and talking to them, you break them out of it because some people never really dribbled before. Like they think they dribbled until I work with them and stuff, and then they see how bad they don't really dribble. And then some people dribble like robots, and some people dribble. So it's just all about teaching them how to find their own unique flow. Like they don't need to dribble like me. Like they need to find their own unique flow. And I think that's why a lot of players work with me because I never try to make them me.
Yeah.
I try to find their own unique flow and just bring that out of them. So like if you only gonna dribble three dribbles every time you catch the ball, then I need to make you the best three dribbler person in the world. If you're a point guard, then we need to do this. I need to be able to teach you how to go from breakdown moves to just blowing past somebody. If somebody's scared of you and don't want to guard you, just go straight to the basket, but you don't have to do no moves. So it's just different styles of dribbling that I learned my whole life, and I just try to give them. But most of all, I just give them the raw honesty, truth, and I think that's been the biggest part.
For people who love basketball stories, like word of
hmm
mouth is great because
Thank
you've
you.
got so many great stories. I have got to touch though on 95 McDonald's All-American game. And for people who don't know, it is KG, Kevin Garnett, Vince Carter, Chauncey Billups, three Hall of Fame guys,
Yeah,
you, and then also Marbury out of
yeah,
New York, kind of street guys out of New York. Like,
yeah.
what do
It's
you remember
Paul.
about
It's
that?
Paul. It's Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce, yeah.
Antoine Jameson, Jelani McCoy. It's probably either arguably the one or two best class ever because 19 of the 22 players went to the NBA before their junior year of college, and even culturally, we were so big culturally, even to now, to the relevance now, right? So like you have Vince Carter, that's probably the best in game, best dunker ever. And then you have some people say, oh, Shammgod's one of the best dribblers ever. Then you have Marbury. Then you have Chauncey Billups. Then you have Paul Pierce. You have these unique people in this element. Whereas, we all became friends at that time, and we all said we would be friends for the rest of our life. So we have these unique relationships even now. And then we even came into basketball and like coaching and helping the youth and helping people move basketball forward. So it's just one of them unique elements. And then when you factor in that, I grew up with Mace, Cameron, Jay-Z, Sean Puffy Combs of the worlds and the Locks and all these other people that are culturally unique in their own way, then it's just like a big melting pot.
Yeah. And you also talk about your relationship with Kobe, which started
Yeah.
the ABC camp, right? Like it was,
Yes.
yeah, and you just went at each other on.
Yeah. So it's just like the thing with Kobe is like it's so raw because like when I first met him, his father's the one that introduced him to me. And his father's like, man, my son could do all these things, but he can't really dribble at this time. And it's so funny because when I first met him, before his father told me who he is, he was he got paired on my team. And it was like I just made McDonald's All American, so I'm riding this high, it's in New Jersey, it's New York. So, I'm the man. I'm like, man, this and that. And then this kid from Philadelphia, or at that point we were like saying he was from France or he was from Italy because he came overseas. And he's just shooting all the balls. And I'm like, man, who is this dude shooting all the balls? Like, this dude is a nut. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not dealing with him. And that's how we got close. And the crazy part is because like when you're young, you're just like so brutally everything. And everybody's like, man, he think he's Jordan. He want to walk like Jordan, talk like Jordan. He think he could do all this stuff Jordan could do. And for one thing out of it, I would say, if you look at his career going forward, is like that stuff right there. He always had that strength, that inner strength, where maybe because he grew up like alone overseas playing basketball and stuff, but he had that inner strength where he knew who he was. Like no matter what kids say, and then as he got older, even with the Lakers, no matter what people said or different things, he always believed that his purpose was his purpose, and it was he was born to be great. And him wanting to be like Michael Jordan and going so hard, and everybody doubting him, it made him Kobe.
Yeah.
One of a kind.
Obviously coached with and worked with so many guys, but like you're sitting in your hotel room on the road or wherever and you're flipping around watching games on League Pass or whatever. Who's the guy you stop to watch? Who entertains you now? You want to see?
Like now, I watch. I mean, I'm with him all the time now. I want to be before. I watch Kyrie.
Yeah.
I love Kyrie. I mean, I know his whole family, so I knew him since he was young. Luka Doncic, of course. Luka's like amazing. Steph Curry, amazing. I like watching James Harden. Like
Yeah.
I really like watching James. James is such a great player where I don't think he get the credit that he deserve all the time. But he's such a great player in so many ways. Like he could be in the Hall of Fame for being one of the best point guards ever or one of the best shooting guards ever.
Yeah.
That's as amazing and within itself, right? And he know the game so well from a mental standpoint, like running the team and things like that. So that makes him great. But yeah, like those players, you know, even in my era, like I was always fans of my peers. Like I was fans of Steph, like Stephon Marbury,
Yeah.
Allen Iverson, like all those guys in my era. I loved them. Rafer Alston, Skip to my Lou, Kareem Reed. Like
Skip to my Lou, man. It's
yeah,
always so
yeah,
much fun to watch, man.
yeah. So I like, you know, I think I said it in my book one time. Like I really grew up in an era where like all my closest friends was like, and they all played basketball before I started playing basketball. So they all was like the Avengers. Like if you ever look at like the Avengers, like if I could just have basketball players and give them unique powers, these guys that I grew up with, and not just grew up with, it was a brotherhood, friendship, and everything. From Kobe, from Ray, from Stephon Marbury, from Chauncey Billups to, like I said, Allen Iverson to Kyrie, and how everything is going full circle for me. It's really like watching, because I'm a big Marvel comic person, so it's really like watching like the Avengers. Like I grew up amongst and became one of the Avengers.
You're now in Orlando with your man Jamal Mosley on
Yes.
a team a lot of us, by the way, kind of have high hopes for, think is ready for
There
a
we
step
go.
forward.
Let's go,
Are
Orlando.
you excited? You sound excited about it. What's it like working with Paolo and Franz? It'd be like being in that environment, man.
Man, it's gonna be amazing. Like Powell and France and them, they're coming into their own right now. They're at the right age where they still young, but they're young enough to dare to be great. And I believe like Paulo and France gonna be great, but Desmond Bain,
Yeah.
Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black, we got Titus Jones now. We got so many great players that's great in their own right, and I feel like right now they all are ready to make their mark. So I'm just happy and honored to be a part of it. And Jamal Mosley, of course, I knew him forever. I knew him when we both was teenagers, because when I was a freshman at Providence, he visited Providence.
No. Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't. Yeah.
so that's even full circle. Like for me and him then to me and him coaching at Dallas together, he just got such a great passion and such all about the work. You know what I'm saying? There's not
Yeah.
too many people I could say that's all about the work. Like, forget all the accolades, forget all that stuff. Like, he's all about the work and all about winning and all about pouring into the kids. And I think that's what me and him share in common the most. Like, when I work with players and stuff like that, I always tell them, because I laugh. I'm like, I'll probably be one of the few people in your life that's not here for anything. I'm actually
Yeah.
here to give you something. You know what I'm saying? Because whether I work with a player, or don't work with a player, I'm gonna be Shammgod regardless.
Yeah.
That's already done. So I'm not here to clout chase. I'm not here to do this. I'm not here to do that. I'm only here for the work. So I'm actually here to give you something. And I think that's why players relate to me the most because they know I come from a pure heart and I just want to see them win. Like I just want to see them get better and I want to see them win. And I think that's why I've always had good relationships, whether it's Mark Cuban and the organization, because they know it's never about me, it's about the organization because I feel if we win, then we all win. And I always want to be I don't have to be the greatest person. I want to be a part of things that are great. I don't have to be the one in the forefront to be like, oh, look what I did, look what I did. I always wanted to be a part of something that's bigger than me. And right now, me going to Orlando Magic, I feel that's where I'm at. Like, it's such amazing people, you know, Jeff Weltman and all the people from Orlando. They've just been so great to me. And I just think that's where I'm at right now in life. And I think God gave me a perfect opportunity, like you said, with a young team that we all can grow together and do something special.
Cool. I know you're busy. I'll let you go. I got one last question.
Yep.
What brought the book now? Like this is a great time for it as we head into the season. But like, what motivated you to go now?
Because I had did article for Players Tribune,
Yeah.
and I just answered some questions, and then everybody like was so engaged, and everybody's like, "Man, the way you tell stories, you should do a movie." And I was like, "A movie?" And this stuff I just never thought of.
Yeah.
And they was like, "Man, you do such a great job telling your story and telling how New York really was, like how it really looked, and all this other stuff." So I had sat down with people and we had wrote a movie script, and then um, New York City Point Guards came out,
Oh yeah.
and everybody's like, "Man, this would be a good segue to the movie," and they was like, "But this would be a good segue for you to do a book and then do the movie." Like because they're like, of course you need more, you need to talk about more stuff that tell the whole story, not just part of the stuff you did in Players Tribune. So, and for me, everybody that know me, I'm like a real private person. So this was like a big step for me. So the fact that you said you like it, I'm happy because I'm like a nervous wreck about this.
Oh no, man. It is for a hoop junkie like myself and others out there. This is a great book. So
Thank you. No, thank you so much. For real.
no, thank you, man. All right, that's it. Like when you're out, I'm LA based, so when you're out here beating up on the Clippers and Lakers, I'll hunt you down at one of the games. Say hi.
Yes, definitely. I'll definitely check in with you when I get there.